What questions should you ask a property manager before hiring them? Hey everyone, I'm Eddie from VP Property Management, where we help investors maximize their returns on both single-family and multifamily properties throughout the Kansas City Metro. And today I want to talk about something that can make or break your investment performance long-term. That's what questions you should ask your property manager before hiring them. Because honestly, choosing the wrong property manager can cost you significantly more than most investors realize. A lot of owners focus entirely on the management fees, but in reality, a bad property manager can cost you far more through vacancies, turnover, poor tenant placement, maintenance issues, delayed communication, bad reporting, and operational efficiency. And unfortunately, by the time most owners realize there's a problem, they've already lost a lot of money. We've had several owners come to us after bad experiences with previous management companies. Some of those properties were dealing with low occupancy, high eviction rates, excessive maintenance expenses, inconsistent owner payouts, poor tenant communication, and generally underperforming operations. In many cases, we were able to stabilize those properties within 6 months to a year, but it took time because operational issues tend to build up gradually and they're hard to undo. That's one of the biggest things owners don't realize. Poor property management usually isn't one catastrophic mistake. It's an accumulation of small breakdowns over time. Maintenance gets delayed, tenants stop getting updates, make-readies fall behind, leasing slows down, reporting becomes inconsistent, vacancies last longer than they should, and owners aren't properly informed. And eventually everything starts compounding into much bigger issues. So today I want to walk through some of the most important questions property owners should ask before hiring a management company, and more importantly, why those matter. Question 1, how familiar are you with my specific area and property type? This is one of the most important questions owners can ask, because not all rentals operate the same way. Managing a single family home in Brookside, a duplex in Waldo, or a larger multifamily property in Independence all require a little different operational approaches. A property manager should have true familiarity with your neighborhood, your tenant base, rental pricing, maintenance expectations, and the type of property you own. One of the biggest mistakes we've seen is companies trying to manage everything everywhere without having enough local expertise. A property manager should be able to confidently explain market rents, vacancy trends, tenant expectations, operational challenges specific to your area. If they can't speak confidently about your market, that's a red flag. Question 2, what does your communication process look like? Communication is one of the biggest reasons owners leave management companies. And honestly, communication breakdowns usually start happening when companies grow too quickly without the systems or the staffing to support the growth. What starts happening is maintenance requests get missed, owners stop receiving updates, tenants become frustrated, and eventually everyone feels disconnected. A good property manager should clearly explain how often owners receive updates, how maintenance communication works, response time expectations, and how issues are escalated. Transparency is everything in property management. Owners shouldn't feel surprised by expenses, vacancies, repair costs, or tenant issues. And tenants shouldn't feel ignored either, because once tenant communication breaks down repeatedly, turnover usually follows. Question 3 you should be asking is, how do you handle maintenance and vendor oversight? This is another huge one, because maintenance is one of the fastest ways profitability gets destroyed. Not just because repairs cost money, but because delayed maintenance creates larger problems over time. A leaky pipe becomes water damage, ignored HVACs become full replacement, and frustrated tenants become a vacancy. You want to understand how maintenance requests are handled, how vendors are selected, whether there are after-hours systems, how estimates are approved, how preventative maintenance is approached. One thing we strongly believe in at VP Property Management is proactive rather than reactive. especially with renovated properties. Most of the single-family homes we manage were renovated prior to leasing, and because of that, maintenance requests tend to be lower, tenants stay longer, and operational costs are usually more predictable. That upfront investment in quality often saves owners significantly more time long term. Question 4. How transparent are your fees and contracts? One of the biggest green flags owners should look for is transparency. A good management company should clearly explain management fees, leasing fees, maintenance markups, renewal fees, eviction costs, and cancellation terms. Owners should never feel like they're uncovering surprise charges later. And honestly, one of the biggest mistakes owners make is simply choosing the cheapest property management company. In our experience, quantity does not beat quality. A lot of larger management companies compete primarily on price, but when companies scale too quickly and focus heavily on volume, service quality often declines. Eventually, communication suffers, reporting gets careless, make-readies fall behind, and owners experience fluctuating profitability. Cheaper management can become extremely expensive over time. Question 5. What does stabilization actually look like? This is a question almost nobody asks, but they should. If a property is underperforming, ask the management company, what does stabilization realistically look like and how long should it take? One of the biggest green flags in a property manager is honesty. If a company promises immediate result with no challenges, that's usually unrealistic. A good property manager should be transparent enough to say, yes, we can improve this property, but stabilization may realistically take 6 months to 1 year depending on the occupancy, the deferred maintenance, tenant quality, and operational issues. That honesty matters because successful property management is not magic. It's systems, consistency, communication, it's maintenance oversight, it's tenant screening, it's long-term operational discipline. What systems and software do you use? As a portfolio grows, systems become critical. When we scaled rapidly as a company, one of the biggest lessons we learned was that operations can become chaos without strong systems in place. You should ask what software they use, how reporting works, how maintenance is tracked, how tenants communicate, how owner statements are delivered. We personally went through multiple management platforms before settling on AppFolio because a strong system becomes essential as you scale. Good systems improve owner transparency, communication, leasing workflows, maintenance coordination, and overall operational efficiency. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, hiring a property manager is not just about finding somebody to collect rent. You're hiring somebody to protect and operate a major investment. And the best property managers are usually the ones who communicate honestly, understand your market, operate with the strong systems, focus on long-term performance, and prioritize operational quality over sheer volume. Because real estate investing is ultimately an operations business. And small operational issues repeated over time can dramatically impact your profitability. If you're interviewing property managers, slow down and ask deeper questions. Don't just ask, what do you charge? Ask, how do you operate? That answer will usually tell you everything you need to know. If you're investing in Kansas City and looking for a management partner that focuses on communication, operational systems, and long-term asset performance, feel free to reach out to VP Property Management. We'd love to help. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.